Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Desert Knits. Today is July 17th, 2016. I think this is episode 14. I didn't actually look, so anyways. Thank you for spending a little bit of time with me today. I'm Laura. You can find me all around the internet as loraclare, with or without the dot separating Laura and Claire. Fly. I blog at desertknit.blogspot.com. I don't have a whole heck of a lot of stuff to share today, so it shouldn't be a really long episode. We've been really busy here working in our little mini farm garden thing. I have actually processed just over 10 pounds of apricots into jelly that Ty really likes, and a loose style French jam kind of thing with no pectin added. I figure those will be tasty with yogurt and ice cream this winter. And I have absolutely no idea how many pounds of tomatoes I have sliced and sent through the dehydrator. We really like packing those in oil and using them on salad and sandwiches and stuff. But first things first today, there are only a couple weeks left in Warrior Camp. The community that we've built up at Warrior Camp is really a wonderful one, and one that I'm proud to be a part of. It's really encouraging. We all check in on one another and make sure that we're doing okay. If you're interested in joining us and earning some points to win some pretty cool prizes, you can come find us on Ravelry. The group name is Warrior Camp. We have, as far as a prize lineup, we have AgroCare samples coming from someone, yarn dyed by the Happy Little Dye Pot, which I'll be talking about some of her yarn a little later. Hand spun that I'm going to be giving as a prize. I'm also planning on doing a project bag or two, and I think Andrea's planning on doing a project bag. And then I'm sure there will be more stuff that, I don't really know what Ren and Andrea have as their grant prizes. Now, moving on to blog stuff. So I do have a blog. It's something that I started not too long ago, maybe a couple months, as a place to post show notes and links to the video, as well as running reviews and that kind of thing. I'm going to push myself to update my blog more frequently with yarn reviews, fiber study kind of things, breed studies, fleece processing, since I have a bunch of fleeces now. I'll keep doing the Wordless Wednesday posts that I've been doing and make sure that I actually do them on Wednesday rather than posting them on Thursdays. And then the weekly running reviews. It's something that I want to do to share my process with other people, so that they can see kind of how I process fleece and how I plan on spinning it. A fleece is a huge amount of fiber that, it's a really big project from start to finish, so I think it would be interesting to have more people post, start to finish, start with a fleece, end with a project kind of things. And I will be showing what I have processed so far from my big giant Romney fleece on the blog, or on the in the whips section. But I want to put this out there, say it in public, in a public forum. It's bound to happen, right? And as far as running posts, I didn't do one on Friday. I'm feeling kind of discouraged about my running right now, but again, getting it out there, putting it out there. I will post on my blog. I will do it more frequently, and I will update with running things, different reviews of gear and my Zombies Run app. You know, it's got a fun story along with it, that kind of thing. And it's really encouraging for me to read posts done by other people about running. So, you know, I want to be part of that community as well and encourage other people to run and make sure that, you know, people don't just see all of the successful things that I post on Instagram, like when I got my 5K PR, the fastest mile thing on this watch, and that kind of thing. I want other people to be able to see that I don't reach all of my goals all the time, but that it's okay. And if there's anything that you want to know about any of those processes, something that I can put together as a tutorial, or if you want to see pictures of how I process things, then, you know, ask. If there's something that I don't post that you're interested about, get a hold of me. You can find me on Ravelry and Instagram. You can leave a comment on the blog, on YouTube. Just get a hold of me and ask. I'm happy to share, you know, what I know and what I don't know. I will say that I don't know, you know? Yeah. Now, I do have a couple works in progress today, not a whole heck of a lot, and all of, you know, one finished object. I'm counting something else as a finished object, so sort of two, but I feel like that's kind of cheating. Anyways, works in progress. So we talked last time about the Tour de Fleece, and my plan of spinning as much of this pillowcase of fiber as I can on my Jenkins. I have one turtle done and off of the spindle. I love winding them on. How pretty. I found that it's really hard for me not to. And then I have a start on the next turtle. So this is something that I am actually pretty much only spinning at work. It travels nicely in my little Tupperware thingy. So I'm really only doing it at work during breaks and lunch, waiting before work to clock in, that kind of thing. Typically I don't have a lot of time before work for spinning. I'm at work for, most of the time I'm at work for 10.5 hours a day, so I don't get there super early. I don't want to sit there and wait forever. But it is coming along. I have done over 25 grams since the beginning of Tour de Fleece. Only, sorry, there's a fly. Only during work breaks and, you know, at work, lunch breaks, that kind of thing. It has gone with me other places, though I haven't actually spun on it. I'm doing this as a very casual thing. The Jenkins group is awarding flags for prizes at every 25 grams you spin on one of the Turkish spindles on one of the Jenkins. But, you know, I'm in it for fun. I'm trying not to add more stress to my life. So it is what it is. It's going slow. I'm definitely not going to finish this entire bag, pillowcase full of fiber before the end of Tour de Fleece, which I'm okay with. I didn't really think that I was going to. It's just going to be fun to see how far I can get. The second work in progress is not a Tour de Sock sock. I have been feeling overwhelmed lately with the deadlines, so I decided that I'm going to, I'll knit all of the patterns. I'm not going to knit them during the Tour de Sock. We had to bring the Sonic, the new car, to the dealership for an oil change, and there was a radio chime, door chime, something or other update warranty thing that had to be done on the car, so we just did those at the same time. And I started a new sock project. So it's going to have a roll down cuff. So it starts with some ribbing, and then I did some straight knitting, and then a few garter stitch bumps. And I'm just going to bend or fold over the top, and because I like the way that that looks. And then this slip stitch rib pattern for, to keep me from getting too bored, and because I really don't like just plain vanilla socks. And I'm down about halfway through the heel flap, and I did pretty much all of this. I think I did the rib the night before, but everything else was done at the dealership, sitting in their waiting room, waiting and waiting and waiting for everything to get done. We were only there for 2.5 hours or so, which I guess isn't horrible, but it felt like forever, sitting in one of the waiting room chairs. The yarn that I'm using is some from the Happy Little Dye Pot. This particular skein is 50/50 Merino Tessa Silk in the colorway Woodland. I am a huge fan. I am definitely going to order more yarn from her because it's dyed really well, and the Merino Tessa blend, yes, I'm using it for socks. Yes, it's a luxury yarn. It's going to wear really nicely, I can tell. I've had some sock yarn with silk in it before and done it for socks, and I really like the way that they wear. So I'm really excited to have, a soft and silky pair in these really fun oranges and greens in all kinds of shades to wear. I'll need to find some new socks, or some new shoes to show them off. Anyways, she has donated one skein for the Warrior Camp too. So go check out her Etsy store. Last time I looked at her Etsy store, she had some really, really nice colors in it. I am not currently buying yarn. I have a lot of sock yarn to knit through, but 2-3 pairs down the line, I'm probably going to buy some more just to have some from her. And then my next work in progress, if you can call it that, I don't know what to call a work in progress that is going to take months, if not longer. So I have this, it's one of those plastic drawer things in that plastic storage stuff, but I have a drawer that I have filled completely with combed Romney. This is going to be a huge project. Sorry about that. I had to let one of the dogs out. Anyways, this is going to be an absolutely massive, massive project. I don't know if I'm going to comb the entire fleece. That will take me ages. I need to work on my combing technique because it's taken me a while to figure out exactly what I'm doing and how I'm doing it, and it takes me a little while to comb everything. Each one of these little bundles is some of the combed top from my combing things, and every once in a while I'll have an absolutely tiny one because I am having an interesting time drafting off of the comb sometimes to get it, off in a straight line. But I think that I've got about 6 ounces combed, and this is not just combing waste from the Romney, but it's also from the Coopworth that I was working on. I have a bag of, let's see, there's some cheatgrass in here because I'm just pulling it out and throwing it in the bag, and all of the combing waste. What do people normally do with combing waste? I know that some people will send it through a drum carder and then spin it, but I don't have a drum carder. I have hand cards, but I don't want to sit there and figure out how to load the drum cards with all of the fiber's really floofy. I've really only used the hand cards with cotton for making poonies, and with braids to make, a gradient yarn or blending the colors in better and that kind of thing. So at what point is combing waste like stuffing material or mulch, or, give it to the rats so they have something fun to nest in? I don't really know. So we'll see how much motivation I have to spin the entire fleece, because to me that would mean all of the combing waste as well as all of the stuff that I've combed, but I don't know if I want to spend the time prepping the stuff that came off the waste from the combs. I know there's still good stuff in there, but I don't know if I want to do that. So if any of you have any ideas, or if you have done this before, let me know what you did with it. Maybe I'll try felting. Probably not needle felting, because that just seems crazy. But, like dryer balls or something. I don't know. I have no idea. So, finished objects. This is the thing that I'm like, it's not really a finished object, but it is a finished thing. I made sample cards. This one is for the Coopworth. I spun it on my pocket wheel, so I don't have actual like ratio numbers that I could put on it. So high twist single is what I wrote instead of a ratio. So I kind of know what that means. I don't know if I'll know what that means in 10 years, but I know what it means right now. And then I have my singles, my 2-ply, and my Navajo ply 3-ply sample. And then I did one for the Romney fleece that I'm combing as well. Again, where the fleece is from. Leslie and I washed it together at her house. Wraps per inch on the singles. Medium twist for this one. And then I have my single, my 2-ply, and my Navajo ply 3-ply sample. So I can see having, a whole collection of these little sample cards to look through at some point. This is going to be another one of those very cool to look at 3 years from now kind of projects, because I'll have a lot more by then. But it is something that I think I'm going to start doing with all of the fiber that I spin, so that I have kind of a record of what I've spun and how I've spun it, and I can see, how the different, before I even start spinning for a project, how the 2-ply versus the 3-ply look. So because of that sample card, I actually decided to make the Coopworth that I showed you guys last time that I was combing a 2-ply. I plied it back on itself, and I did actually finish the skein of Coopworth. It is a sport weight, and it's about 320 yards, and it's, I think I weighed it at, oh, I guess I have my scale right here. I weighed it at 115 grams. Oh no, sorry, 109 grams. So, 350 yards, 109 grams of sport weight Coopworth. I'm really happy with the way that this yarn turned out. It is definitely going to be a hard wearing yarn. It's not a soft yarn. Like, I can't do this and know, oh yeah, I'm going to knit this as a cowl. I'd get itchy. So I think with this, I'm actually going to knit a pair of mittens. And I haven't told her yet, and I know she doesn't watch this, but I think I'm going to knit a pair of mittens and a headband, and line the headband for Leslie to wear this winter, because she helped me wash my fleeces, and she is letting me borrow her combs. So I think it would be a nice gift to knit a little set for her that's going to wear really well. Because she, even in the winter, she has to go take care of the sheets that she owns. I mean, she's going to be out in the cold. I'm sure she has plenty of stuff, but I've never seen anything that she's knit, and she says she doesn't know how to knit well. So I think that I'm going to knit something nice for her to wear this winter while she's taking care of her sheep. And maybe I'll get a nice lamb fleece from her next year. That kind of comes to the end of my works in progress and finished objects and all of my fibery update stuff. So now I just have the running portion. Like I said earlier, I am feeling kind of discouraged about my running right now. It's mid-July. It is hot. I don't want to run in the heat. It's hard to run in the heat. And I feel like I'm running really slowly. And I feel like my running's getting slower, which, you know, it's hot out. I get it. You run slower in the heat. But have you seen the meme about running running slowly? It goes something like, I'm slower than a herd of turtles running through molasses, or something like that. That's kind of how I feel. I don't feel like I am making any progress. I don't feel like my speed is increasing much. I don't feel like my distance is increasing much. I'm not feeling the running right now, which is a shame because I really enjoy running most of the time. It's kind of weird saying that I'm not feeling the running, and I'm like, I like running. I do. But that's how I feel, and I need to figure out how to re-energize my desire for running and my enthusiasm about running. Last night, yesterday I took a late nap and I slept for way too long in order for me to go back to sleep at a normal bedtime, which typically I'm asleep by 10:30. So I decided, after I was laying in bed for about 15 minutes, and it was not going to happen. I was not going to fall asleep. That I would get up and get Molly and go for a run. So we left home last night about 10:30, and we got home about 1 a.m. There were, you know that new Pokemon Go game? Right, it's not new, but the Pokemon Go, there were a ton of people at some of the more public gym things. I have the app downloaded on my phone. I've been enjoying walking around and catching Pokemon, but it's not something that I can do while I run. I mean, it's not gonna work. I tried. It didn't work well. But there were people everywhere down at the park. I ran down there because they had streetlights, you know, on the way down there, and then there's like no streetlights there, so I ran along to the next, along the front of a building that's down there, and then up a hill and back, you know, on main streets where there are plenty of streetlights, so I can see where I'm going. But I think that is more people than I expected to see outside, especially at midnight, down at the park. It was kind of bizarre, but I really enjoy the fact that people are getting out with Pokemon Go game, even if they're, you know, kind of getting in the way, if they're not paying any attention and decide, oh hey, there's Pokemon over there, and turn while I'm trying. I was like 3 feet away from someone when he just stopped. And, you know, I'm running, and he was walking slowly, and he just stopped and then turned and almost a collision with another pedestrian. It's not something that you hear of often, right? Anyways, I think I was supposed to run 10 or 12 miles this weekend for my long run. I ran 7 1/4 last night. I made it to about mile 5, and I felt like puking. I did not feel well. My stomach was incredibly upset. I was okay if I was walking, but when I started running and my stomach started bouncing again, it was not good. It wasn't good. So that was about mile 5. I texted Ty and said, I don't feel well, I'm coming home. I was only about 2.5 miles away from home. It took me half an hour to get home. Half an hour. 2 miles, half an hour. Again, feeling very slow. But I don't know if it was because I hadn't eaten enough recently enough to support a long run, or if I hadn't had enough water, or if it was because I'm like never up past midnight, ever. And my body was very confused that I was up and running that late. And it was still, you know, mid-70s at midnight last night. It was hot. So after that, it's kind of hard to feel like I want to go out and run in that again, but I know I need to. I could go up to the gym and run on the treadmill, but I don't do well on treadmills at all. My balance goes all kinds of haywire, and once I get off of the treadmill, I feel like I'm going to collapse, like I'm going to fall over because I can't walk straight or stay upright. And that's even after a mile or 2. It gets worse the longer I'm on a treadmill. There's no way that I can do 12 miles on a treadmill and then get off and stay upright. It's just not going to happen. But in the last 2 weeks, I have done 32 miles. Not really fantastic. That's, 16 miles a week is actually pretty much exactly what I've done every week for the last 2 weeks. Not really enough for marathon training, even though technically for the marathon that I want to run, I'm still in the very beginning of training, so it should be okay. But I was trying to build in some buffer time for if I, had a weekend like this where I felt like utter crap. So, yeah. I don't really know. But it's a new week. Today is a new day. Tomorrow I am going to do 3 miles. Only 3 miles before I go to work for 10.5 hours. And I'm not going to run at all on Tuesday or Wednesday. And then I will start running, because again, Tuesday and Wednesday are 10.5 hour work days. And then I'm going to run the mileage that I would normally need to run on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then next week I think I'm going to change it up a little bit so that I have, not 2 rest days back to back and then running 5 days in a row. So we'll see how the schedule changes. You will see an update on the blog this Friday with my running review post. You will, because I will post it. But I'll let you guys know how it goes in a couple weeks. And yeah, thank you again for spending some time with me today. I appreciate you being here and listening to me blabber on and on and on about running and yarn. If you have any questions, please send me a message and I will be happy to answer your question and share what I know.